Welcome to the Forward Focused Flashcast. If you're here for the first time, we're honored that you're here. And if you're returning, welcome back. At Forward Focus, we've designed episodes to help you become a better and more well-rounded leader with quick tips that you can implement right away. In today's episode, we're actually doing a throwback to one of the very first episodes we've ever dropped. And this episode was titled The Financial Thermostat. And in that episode, we actually specifically talked about a tool called KRONC. So what you're about to see is just over 4 minutes of an overview of that tool, KRONC. And on the other side of that content, I'm going to give you 3 things to consider as we're going into the end of 2022 into 2023 with uncertainty with recession and other economy red flag indicators that are flashing. So check it out. This throwback is gold. A really cool exercise that I love to work with clients on is called KRONC, KRONC. It stands for keep, reduce, offset, negotiate, cut. So I'm going to give a business example because in our previous episode, Leading in a Crisis, we talked about a personal example. I'm going to give a business example of how you can go through your budget and use the KRONC method. So check this out. Typically, once a month, I go through, and let's say my goal is to cut my business expenses by 10%, right? I've had a decline in revenue, or I lost a couple of contracts of future business I thought I was going to have. And so I need to cut by 10%. Well, instead of trying to cut 10% all at once, which many people attempt to do, I look at it as, can I cut 2% per month for 5 months? If I can cut 2% a month for 5 months, I still get the goal of 10% cut, right? So first and foremost, let's say I'm looking at my P&L and I'm going to keep people paid, right? I have a couple employees. I want to keep paying them. I want to pay myself as a owner operator. So I'm going to keep my payroll. That's something I'm not going to get rid of. So the K for keep payroll. Reduce. Maybe I'm going to look at consolidating office space. I'm going to cut down on how much space I need. Maybe I'm going to consolidate how many internet or phone lines or subscriptions I have. So I'm literally just going to reduce the number of something so I save more money. I'm going to reduce the expenses in a category. Offset. Maybe I have a landscaping company that comes and takes care of my business once a week. And so instead of doing that, I'm going to hire a jack of all trades that works in my organization, or a family member that maybe wants additional income, a side hustle. And so I'm going to be able to offset the cost of this landscaping company to somebody that is trusted and I know will do a good job, maybe for a little bit less, but at the end of the day, you're still getting the landscaping work done. 4, negotiating. In that same example, maybe you call the landscaping company and you say, hey, I'm either going to go in a different direction or we need to renegotiate sort of where we stand on our contract. Right now we have a year-long contract. I'm willing to sign a 3-year deal at this reduced amount, right? So negotiating out your deals and what you have. And then lastly, just cutting, right? So maybe that coffee budget goes from 100 down to 50. You're still going to have coffee, but at half the amount of time and half the amount of expense. So when you do this, I was able to have a client that I did this activity with, and he sat down. I asked him to sit down with his wife and go over it after. And he texted me the following Monday and he says, John, you just helped me save $801 per month in my business. Thank you. It's not always the most fun activity to do, but it is very freeing. If you lean into the opportunity, you get real with your numbers to get right, and you understand that the KRONC method is something that should be done every month to be able to get to your desired expense cut. Okay, welcome back. So first and foremost, thanks for hanging into this point. If you're one of those people that when you're listening to this, you're like, numbers just make my eyes glaze over, right? And you're just like, I don't even know, this is a leadership podcast, why are we talking numbers? Here's the first thing. You can't improve what you don't measure. If you're somebody that has a wall or just an uncomfortableness or just an uncertainty around where you are financially in your business or personal life, a great book I recommend is called The Psychology of Money. This book is not your traditional money book, right? It's around how we think about money, how our human behaviors, our disciplines, our psychology, how that all plays a role in if we spend $5 a day on coffee or we make it at home for 50 cents. All right. That's the first thing. Psychology Money is a great resource. If you're like, I want to lean into this slowly, I'm not really certain if I'm going to be a master accountant by the end of the year. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Okay, number 2, I want to be really clear on something. Our federal government only has 2 ways to control which way our economy is heading, specifically inflation, right? And if you're not certain on how inflation works or how we consider a recession and all these other things, there's only a couple key things to know. 1, two consecutive quarters of gross domestic product shrinking, meaning that our economy goes backwards. We sell less product, we sell less service. If that happens 6 months in a row, 2 quarters in a row, we are in a recession. We just ended the third quarter in 2022 at the timing of this, and we've had 3 straight quarters of going backward. So recession's not necessarily a bad thing. There's opportunity in recession. But how does that tie to KRONC? Well, it ties like this. When you're heading into a recession like we're in, by getting super deep on your budget and using the KRONC method, your goal is to survive now so we can thrive later. Survive now so we can thrive later. Cash and cash flow is the key right now. So if you've been avoiding looking at that, or if you have some expenses within your organization or business that you feel aren't necessarily giving you a return on that investment, like you can quantify, this is how I know it's a good investment, it may be time to look at pausing that cost or expense. It may be time to look at cutting that, right? And that leads me to my third point. And this is what we talk about in the Psychology of Money too, which is why I referenced the book. When you cut something or you negotiate it or you replace it by using the KRONC method, it's not forever. It's just for the next 90 days or 6 months. So maybe you make a commitment that you no longer have lunch brought in every Friday for your team. And you're only going to do that though for the next 90 days. And guess what? Maybe instead of purchasing lunch to be brought in for the team, maybe you do a potluck once a month with the team. So now you're still having an opportunity to break bread with each other. You're still bringing community and culture into your organization. But instead of purchasing it, everybody's bringing one dish to pass. And in fact, your team may actually enjoy that more than purchasing lunch altogether from different restaurants on a monthly basis. So I just want you to, it's not permanent. It's an opportunity for you to take a look at your books and kind of do a reset. For any of you who work out, it's like doing a 75 hard. It's doing P90X. It's doing fasting or alcohol, abstaining from alcohol for 40 days, right? Any of those examples, they're never permanent, right? They're just a reset for your body. They're a reset for your physical health. Same thing here. It's a reset for your financial health. And the KRONC tool is a great way to do that, especially going into the uncertain times that our economy is currently in. If you found value in today's content, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss a lesson to be the leader that you deserve to be. And until next time, lead on.